I need to come clean about something. This is really hard for me to say this. I am a world traveling video creator, and Did I scare you? My friends, I would like to welcome you to the jungle and welcome to the official 3rd season of the Traveling Clat. We have so much to talk about today, but before we do anything, there's something really exciting that I want to launch right now in this video. We had an awesome intro in New York City, but because this is season 3, we have a brand new intro as well. And for that, for the first time, for season 3 and hopefully beyond, let's roll the intro. I wonder sometimes why I do these things in flip-flops. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is season 3 of the Traveling Clat. I'm so excited. I hope you guys missed me a little bit. I hope you didn't miss me too much, but I hope you did miss me a little bit while we were on hiatus. But this is it, guys. New season. Everything's fresh. It's a brand new season of the Traveling Clat. Everything's brand new. Look at this stick. It's a brand new stick. So I mentioned this in the video saying goodbye to season 2, the end of season 2 of the Traveling Clat. I am determined to make this the best season of the Traveling Clat ever. I want to take this back to the roots of why I created this YouTube channel in the first place. Now, all of that is beautiful and good, but there's a serious issue that I need to come clean about right now on the first episode of season 3. It's been a while since I've done an adventure like this, just hiking through the nature. Let's get serious. Let's turn that brightness up a little bit. So I don't want to be much of a Debbie Downer on the first episode of season 3, because this is supposed to be exciting and it's supposed to be a good thing, but there's something that I need to talk about. I have needed to talk about this for a long time now. I've needed to tell you guys about this. I need to come clean about something. This is really hard for me to say this. I'm gonna be honest, I'm getting really nervous just getting ready to expel it and say it out of my mouth. It's embarrassing. I'm sad about it. I'm sad that I let it get to this point, but I really need to come clean about this. I am afraid of flying. I am a world traveling video creator, and I am afraid of flying. Wow, that was kind of weird. It instantly kind of felt a little better that I said it now. This is the first time I'm actually coming out and saying this thing. It's scary for me, to be honest. I've mentioned it, I've hinted it towards you guys before, but I've never come out and said the way that I've just said it. A big part of why I do this YouTube thing and why I travel around the world is because I'm trying to consistently bring myself out of my comfort zone. I'm trying to scare myself. I'm trying to grow as a person. For the last year, I have avoided doing something that is so crucial to my way of life. It is completely irrational. I am afraid of flying. I'm afraid of getting on an airplane and flying through the sky. And like everything that we do on this channel, context is important to fill in the gaps for the story. And I'm sorry if I'm having a little bit of trouble talking about this and I'm taking big breaks in between. It's because this is not a topic that is easy for me to talk about. Quite frankly, I find it very embarrassing. So let's give you some context. This story starts in December 2016. I had just quit my retail job and was about to fly to England to attend a thing called the LTA Summit. This was a big gathering of YouTubers across the world in the United Kingdom. For me, this trip meant a lot. I was going there with the desire to go and ask all the big travel YouTubers that were coming out there whether they think I should try and do this as a full-time thing, or really just get advice on what I should be doing with my life. I had projected a lot of ideals and desires on the way that I wanted this event to go for myself, and to be frank, there was so much pressure on my back from my parents, from the fact that I just quit my job, and from the fact that I was going to pretty much decide if I was going to continue doing this YouTube thing or not. It's about 9 p.m. I'm sitting in a 787 from Norwegian Airlines, about to take off from Fort Lauderdale Airport straight to Copenhagen in Denmark. And like many times before, I am holding my camera on the window of the plane, getting ready for the takeoff to set me off onto a brand new adventure that I'm super excited about. And I'm never, ever, ever going to forget this flight because it was one of the worst days of my life. As the pilot puts the plane into full throttle, setting off on the runway to start taking off, my heart starts beating, and it's beating fast, and I don't know why. And my heart is beating so fast that it starts skipping beats. Now, my heart skipping a beat comes in the form of a thing called a palpitation. Feels like a flutter. It's never anything dangerous, really, and it's a symptom of having anxiety and panic attacks. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, for the first time in years, I'm having a full-blown panic attack while holding my camera to the window of this plane filming the takeoff. And in my brain, I am positive that I'm having a heart attack. This one flight was the beginning of a nightmare scenario for myself. That takeoff scarred me. It stayed with me. I traveled through Europe for another month and a half, almost 2 months. I kept on pushing my trip off week after week after week. I was really only supposed to be gone for about a week during this whole trip, and I ended up stretching that out to almost 2 months. I was so scared to hop on a flight. I ended up even having to pay extra because I didn't book my flight to the last minute because I was so anxious. But when I finally did and boarded that second flight, I was hoping nothing would happen. And we started taking off from London Gatwick en route to Fort Lauderdale. It happened again. My heart starts beating like crazy during takeoff, starts skipping beats, and I'm thinking this is the end of me. I'm going to die on this plane. And so just like the first flight, second flight back home went great. The only issue was that horrible, trauma-inducing takeoff. But one thing that I didn't want to do was succumb to the anxiety. I knew that the way I had to deal with this anxiety was to not visit a doctor, not talk to anybody, keep this bottled up, and move along with it. Because that's what I did the first time around when I got over this anxiety. Never went to a therapist really, never really talked to anybody about it. I just kind of worked through it by myself. Because that second flight was so horrible, I decided I didn't want to fly again for a little bit. I wanted to try doing travel overland. So I did a road trip across the United States. But right after that, I got the opportunity to travel with some awesome travel video creators across Mexico and Cuba. And I knew that I had to take a flight. I couldn't run away from it. So I purchased another flight from Miami to Cancun. During the month and a half between when I took that road trip to when I took that flight, I was exercising, I was working out until one day I had another one of those events where my heart started racing while I was working out, probably due to stress or anxiety, gave me a panic attack and caused me to stop working out. I once again let this take control of my life and I stopped exercising. I would not lift another weight, run again, or do any sort of physical exercise because of my fear of having a heart palpitation in the middle of the workout. The flight from Miami to Cancun, Mexico actually didn't go that bad because I figured out a loophole. If I talk to somebody next to me on the flight, the anxiety goes away and I don't deal with the little panic attack that happens during takeoff. So I chatted with a really friendly woman. She gave me a bunch of tips on places I should go in both Cancun and in Cuba, and the flight went incredibly. And I actually started owning this fear as a potential blessing because it meant that I just needed to talk to somebody. As long as I talked to somebody, got to know a new person, I would be able to get over this fear and I could keep flying. But if only anxiety was that simple. The next issue with this was me developing the fear of speaking to a stranger. And so the anxiety took a hold of another part of my life. A few months later, I committed to do a round the world trip. And I was committed to getting over this fear of flying. Luckily, I was able to fly with my boys Moshe and Vidal, my good friends. They were able to support me through that flight. And we got over it in a jiffy. It was no issue. I was able to talk to them. I didn't have any issues. My biggest issue is that I knew that Moshe and Vidal were going to leave me in Israel at some point, and I was to continue this journey by myself. And so that meant I either had to fly again by myself or figure out a way to get around the world without flying. And instead of manning up and taking charge of my fears and anxieties, I ran away from them again. To be fair, because of that, I got to experience one of the most incredible journeys of my life, going all the way from Israel to London and then London to Seoul in South Korea without flying. Everything was either by boat or train or bus, and it was incredible. It was half of planet Earth cleared without stepping foot on an airplane. And in my opinion, this is where the story gets sort of sad. I don't pity myself, and I'm not regretting anything, but this is time to take action and take responsibility for me brushing things off that I didn't think were important to deal with. This is a maturity process, and this is part of growing up. I'm going to tell you guys where this story with anxiety ends and where it's going to go. There were 2 flights that I did not talk about at all. I never brought them up on this channel before. Getting close to the end of our round the world trip, we were flying from Osaka, Japan to Oahu, Hawaii. I got a cold a few days before this flight, and it was pretty bad. And on this flight, my ears felt like they were going to explode. I was in so much pain. But that was all right because when we made it to Hawaii, we were in bright, sunny territory, beautiful weather, and we traveled around Oahu for another month. I was still traumatized now from all the other flights that I've taken, including the one I just took where I got a cold. And boom, once again, right before we were going to fly from Oahu, Hawaii to LA, a month later, I get a really, really bad cold on the day of the flight. And this time, this is what made me quit flying for the last year. As we were landing in LAX, my brain felt like it was going to rupture. I couldn't do anything but put my head down and start shaking. and shivering. And I knew that I was in bad condition because Moshe next to me was terrified, and he never really gets scared of things. But once again, plane landed, and at the end of the day, I was fine. My ears were ringing a little bit. It was just a lot of pain because I was flying with a cold. As a side note, it's not something I recommend. Don't really fly with a cold. It's bad for you. If you can avoid it, avoid it. But because of those flights, instead of dealing with it and trying to fly again, I told Moshe that we were going to travel overland across the United States on Greyhound buses. And so that's what we did. We went from LA all the way to New York City on Greyhound buses. And we paid more than we would have paid for a flight. And it took us a month to do. Granted, it was an incredible trip. I had a great time. But my fears took control of me. And I was so afraid of flying. For the last year, I quit. I stopped. I haven't left the country. I have gotten so afraid of dealing with my problems and dealing with the issues that scare me that I quit altogether and I stopped dealing with them. This fear of flying has caused me more stress and anxiety than anything I think in my life up to this point. The pressures of being a travel vlogger and a travel video creator without being able to fly has driven me crazy. I also think that this fear of flying, and because of it, and because of my lack of self-control with it, has caused me to miss out on a relationship with a girl that I really liked. But my friends, there is a positive light at the end of this really dark and shitty tunnel, and that is season 3 of The Traveling Clat. So welcome back to the best season and the best part of my life moving forward. In 1 week exactly from today, I am going to be embarking on a massive adventure. And a huge part of this massive adventure is going to involve flying on airplanes around the world. But this video, the first inaugural video of season 3, is me announcing this is not going to take control of my life anymore. This fear of flying is not going to take control of me anymore. And if you deal with a fear of flying, this video is me taking my hand and giving it to you to hold, to come along with me to get over this together. That's why in season 3 of this series, I'm going to be documenting my journey of overcoming my fear of flights, and this is the first piece of that puzzle. I can see myself at the other end of this celebrating and feeling so happy that I finally got in control of my life again. This is the precursor to getting my life back on track and to take control of the fears that scare me. And it's an invitation for you to do the same exact thing. And I know now, especially after talking about this in front of you guys, how real this issue is for so many people other than myself. And I find it so selfish of myself to cower to these fears and to listen to them and to let them take control of my life. In 1 week exactly from today, a brand new chapter of my life, and hopefully yours as well, begins. That's what season 3 is about, and that's exactly what we're going to do. I have kept all of this so bottled up for so long now, and I'm so excited that I'm finally talking about it. This is not going to be an easy journey. It's not going to be fun to get over this, but if you're interested in seeing me get over this process, this part in my life, this little rut, and if you want to join along, better subscribe and turn on those notifications so you don't miss a single video. In addition to that, I'm proud to announce that for season 3, I've actually come out with some new merchandise that can help you support this channel. The most exciting new piece of this merchandise is this shirt. I've wanted to make a shirt like this for so long. This is a crossbreed between my brand and my favorite movie franchise, which I can't particularly talk about because we don't want any particular movie studio to sue us. And you can get that on screen right now or in the description. In addition to that, the shirt that I'm wearing right now and this brand new shirt are also for sale right now on screen or in the description. These are the new Traveling Clat V-neck shirts. Obviously, our best-selling hoodies are still available as well, and you can get those on screen right now or in the description. But in addition to that, a super cool surprise piece of merchandise that I don't even own yet is now available for purchase as well, on screen or in the description. Look at these. A Traveling Clat brand, branded with your favorite country's flag. I'm consistently working on making new designs for these, but right now I have some of the more popular countries that I've traveled to. With your flag embedded into the Traveling Clat logo on a t-shirt. If you guys want to get them, you can get them right now, fresh off the press, on screen or in the description. Ladies and gentlemen, get your Traveling Clat merchandise, not because you're supporting me, but because you are joining us on season 3 of The Traveling Clat. This is season 3 apparel. This is season 3 merchandise. If you want to rock it, come rock it with us. Ladies and gentlemen, I had so much fun making this video. That's the beginning of season 3. Our next few videos are going to be absolutely epic. This whole season is going to be epic. I have some amazing surprises in store for you. Make sure that you connect with me on Instagram and Twitter to get consistent and up-to-date updates, because this channel is no longer going in chronological format. It's going to be impossible for me to keep this as one consistent storyline moving forward, so we're just going to be piecing things together as they go. So if you want to see me in chronological format, follow me on Instagram and watch my stories and engage with me there, as well as Twitter. And that's where I'm going to leave you guys, here in Florida. Our next stop, super exciting, because I'm finally going to fly somewhere. Don't forget that I love you long, long time. I really love you so much. We'll see you then. Goodbye, class.